Hello, everybody. Nicholas Snow here with a special edition of Hot in Palm Springs. And in this episode, we are focusing on the 4th annual Wellness Summit put on by Brothers of the Desert. The Wellness Summit is happening on Saturday, November 9th at Margaritaville, right here in Palm Springs, California. And it's really easy to go, and it's available for everybody. So we're going to be talking all about it. We're going to be learning why it's a fantastic event. And I'll be speaking with two of the board members and longtime leaders of the historic organization, Brothers of the Desert. The theme of the Wellness Summit this year is Our Rhythm, Our Power, Living Our Best Black Gay Lives. So that's what's coming up in the show today. And I also just want to say that my heart goes out to close friends of Leslie Jordan, a gay icon who we lost today, and someone that I have known in one way or another for decades. And coincidentally, my show tomorrow night is a preview of the 22nd anniversary of the film Sordid Lives. And I have some of Leslie's closest friends booked on the show tomorrow. I'm not sure if they're going to be up to being on the show, but my show will be about Leslie Jordan tomorrow night. So with that, coming up next, I have two of the Brothers of the Desert. So I want to let you know right now that throughout this show, at whatever time you see it, whether you're watching live or at some point in the future, you can go to brothersofthedesert.org to learn what this amazing organization is up to, as we're going to in a moment. But before, I'm teasing you guys, aren't I? Before I bring on my spectacular guest, I want all of you to know how you can watch the Palm Springs Pride Parade live on PromoHomo.TV, and to help get us in the mood for Pride, which is the weekend before the Brothers of the Desert Wellness Summit. As a matter of fact, I will be bringing you the Palm Springs Pride Parade live on PromoHomo.TV on Sunday, November 6th.
I have found a place out of time and space, far from city lights, up on greater heights. And I'm flying alone now. And nothing is holding me down now.
Really looking forward to the parade this year, but equally looking forward to the wellness summit being put on by my friend. They're for my friends now, actually. So let's welcome to the show Brothers of the Desert representatives Tim Vincent and Andre Carton. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, welcome. We're excited to
Thanks.
be here.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Nicholas.
You're welcome. So I'm really glad that I'm promoting your event in advance because as an attendee, I really don't want to wear my media hat. It takes me out of the experience. And so, as part of wanting to have my own work life balance, I'm going there as a participant, which is really easy to do. You know, this wellness summit it's a suggested $25 contribution. Give what you can. No one is turned away. You and everybody is welcome. Black gay men and their allies. So that's fantastic. I'll go to you first, Tim. When did? How do you make this event so accessible?
We get a lot of really support, sponsorships from a number of organizations that have helped us over the years to do this. When we first did it, actually in 2019, a lot of this stuff was just given to us. The space, some of the food, some of the speakers just did it because they knew that this was a great idea and they just gave it to us. We've grown since then and needed to, be in a larger space. So we've been able to get people like DAP Health, LGBTQ Center, organization called True Evolution out of Riverside, and some other sponsors like Eisenhower Health who really helped us to be able to put it on in the way that we want it. So it's been great.
Well, fantastic. And Andre, what would you like to add to that point?
Well, I think we owe that to Tim because Tim, this has been Tim's baby and his idea. And the first year, people kept saying, we need to charge, we need to charge. And Tim's like, no, we're not going to charge because I want it to be open to everyone. So Tim is our president of Brothers of the Desert. And I want to make sure that everybody knows the event's on November 12th. You mentioned 12th, you mentioned 9th.
Oh, shame on me. November 12th. I apologize.
No, you have everything else correct. So I just want to make sure that's
Well, they'll find that out when they go to register at brothersofthedesert.org. Why was November 9th in my brain? I have no idea. That's the day after the election when we'll either be happy or sad. Yes, November 12th. And my bad. So it's a full day. And because people won't necessarily watch my entire broadcast, I'd love for whichever one of you wants to go first to talk about the lineup of this year's event.
Well, Tim, I'll let you talk about that. I'll talk about the whole weekend.
Okay, good. So, we have one of the ways in which we get the lineup, just to say in the beginning, is we ask our members who they know or who they would want to see speak about particular topics. So people have said stuff like, we want somebody to talk about relationships. We want somebody to talk about mental health issues. We want somebody to talk about how writing is an important aspect of our creative process and our healing. We want somebody to talk about history. So then we found people who really meet that need. And so we have an incredible lineup of diverse people to be speaking in terms of diverse experts to be talking about the different subjects we're talking about. Our keynote speaker is a Broadway actor and singer, Alton-Fitzgerald White. He's also an author, and he tells a story in his book really about where he came from and how he became as successful as he's become with his own way of practicing his excellence and how to do that. And so he takes that on the road and does motivational speaking, but is an incredible singer. And Andre's going to talk a little bit about that.
Talking about me.
That's all right. So that's a great opportunity for me to just switch over to Andre. Andre, talk about the whole weekend because there's other opportunities available as well, including a concert by Alton Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, we start the weekend off with a Friday night reception. We welcome the speakers. People get a chance to speak with them beforehand. We just very casual. We're doing that at Margaritaville as with the function itself, the summit. So that's kind of fun. We said, let's just get together and meet them and just be really very casual. So we start that at 5:30. Then after that, there is a performance at 8 o'clock by Who is our 8
by Nhojj.
by Nhojj? Yes, Nhojj at 8 o'clock at the Camelot Theater.
Mhm.
Then we have Saturday. We have all day
Nhojj is an
Saturday.
amazing singer, and he when I interviewed him years ago, he was living in New York. I'm not sure where he's based now, but he's really
New
amazing.
Orleans area, but he's a singer and songwriter. He's also going to do a workshop at the summit on
Oh, fantastic.
music is healing, and he's going to be talking about
Yes.
that. So that'll be good.
If you come in, we're gonna get you for everything. So, and
Okay.
then Saturday we have the summit. Then after the summit, we're doing something else with music. We're going to see Legacy at the Cathedral City Amphitheater. So, Nicholas, you're like, you are?
No, I knew about in general, but I didn't remember the details of that particular performance.
Right. Yeah. We're
Yes.
really supporting Palm Springs Women in Jazz because that's what that weekend is. Also, they're doing that weekend, and
Oh, that's the Women's Jazz Festival that weekend.
yeah. So we wanted to support them, and so we did this night at Legacy at the Cathedral City Amphitheater.
Ah, I got it. Well, I'm happy to give the Palm Springs Women's Jazz Festival a shout out. So,
And then rounding it off, we have Sunday Brunch, which is being sponsored by Black Book, which is also sponsoring the church that Alton's performing in. So Alton does his show on that Sunday afternoon.
okay then. Well, there's so much to do, and they all have different tickets and prices, by the way. But the main event, the Saturday, November 12th event, is pay what you can. You register online in advance. Suggested donation $25, which is a great time to return to the lineup that day, Tim. And you mentioned there's lots of speakers. Why don't I just ask you to tell a little bit about us about each of them, and let's start with Trey Wilson.
So Trey Wilson is an incredible facilitator. He does facilitation kind of around the country. He's going to be talking about advocacy for self and how you can do that to really strengthen relationships you have with people, whether they're intimate or friendships. So that's what he's going to be doing. And people loved him last year, so we asked to have him again this year because he was so powerful. So he's coming.
And Trevor James.
Trevor James is going to be doing something about caress and the art of touch, and that's what he does. And so people wanted to hear a little bit more about, or people wanted to feel things. And that sounds so funny. They want to feel things, but they wanted something that wasn't, where am I going? Anyway, they wanted it to not all just be, intellectual and emotional. They wanted also to do something. So he has a workshop that he does. And one of our members also, was really highly, favorable of having him here. So he's going to be doing that. Art of caress.
And will that be experiential?
It will be very experiential.
Okay, then.
And
And then a local celebrity, Alex Del Rosario, MD.
right, and he was there last year as well, doing a thing on sexual health and gay men's guide to sexual health. People also loved it because he was very explicit and frank and answered people's questions and got people talking and thinking. And we wanted him back again, so he's going to be doing that.
So this next gentleman I want to ask about, I'm wondering if he's a member or if he attended last year, because I feel like I should know him. Curley Bonds, MD.
He was not. He was somebody who one of our speakers from last year, Gabriel Maldonado, let me know about. He's a psychiatrist out of Los Angeles and really quite well known in his career. And people really, many times, I mean, I'm really being serious here. So many people talk about mental health right now, especially from what we've gone through. And
Everyone.
people really wanted somebody to really speak to it at a kind of high level. And he was willing to do this. And so he's going to be talking for something called Check Up from the Neck Up. And so it's really about like what you can do to really kind of be aware of your mental health and wellness. So he's doing that.
That's not a makeup
Fantastic.
class. I thought that was a makeup class and feature.
Okay. Now, I was just about to say if you wanted to jump in about any of these speakers, you can, but now I'm wondering. No, go. No, you.
It was a very serious, deep subject. And he went to, anyway,
No, that's okay. And I knew that I knew the name Curley Bonds, MD. And I always think it's funny when a bald man's name is Curly. And then, of course, another local celeb,
Yeah.
deservedly so, Jax Kelly.
Yeah. So Jax is going to be leading a panel on aging considerations, and he's an activist and does all of the work he does all over the country. Really, a lot of our living with HIV, and he's going to be joined by a couple of other people to talk about medical issues in aging and also some financial and issues around that as well. So that's what he's going to be leading.
Well, and if your audience is wondering, wow, Nicholas is so well researched, the reality is I'm looking right at this graphic, and you can look right at that graphic too while you're signing up for the event at brothersofthedesert.org. But the reason that I look like I'm really well researched is I also put the graphic right in front of me under my camera so I can continue talking. I'm giving away all of my trade secrets.
You keep saying to my right, I'm like, where's he going? Anyway,
Right, exactly. So, all right, next up we have Chauncey Thompson.
Chauncey Thompson was there last year. He spoke about financial planning and financial health, and he did it in a panel version, but we wanted him to do his own workshop because people were really also talking about the fact that no matter what age you are, it's really important to kind of think about how you get your finances together. He's an ally, which I'm so happy about that he's does not connect in terms of identify as a gay man, and that's a wonderful thing that he's part of this experience with us, and he's been such a supporter. So, and he's with Barton CPA.
And I actually had a nice conversation with Chauncey last year as well, and I've seen him since. So it's a great place to meet new people. And of course, one of your really powerful contributing members who's also very involved in our own community, Lorenzo Taylor.
Yes. And so Lorenzo has been on our planning committee and does a lot of the work to even get this going too. So I really want to give him that, credit. But he's going to be leading something on a writer's panel, because that's, one of the one of the things he does. And he's an incredible writer. So he's got a collection of other writers, and I'm on that poster that you're seeing, but he's going to be talking about writing as healing, and he's got a couple of other people to talk about their work and how that really helps them and makes them feel, whole and healthy. That's what he's going to be talking about.
Well, that's fantastic. I do admire him a great deal. And Micah Lubensky.
Yeah, Micah Lubensky is somebody I've known for a long time, actually, for the work that I did in the Bay Area. But what he does is another thing that was interesting that people asked about is to hear about history. People wanted to talk about LGBTQ, Black LGBTQ history, and how that really helps us as a group to really feel empowered and powerful and healthy. And he does this thing called Generations that he does in the Bay Area, where he does it once a year, where he kind of does a little bit of just an overview of some of the major main figures and a little bit about why they're important. And he's going to do that for us in a workshop format. So that should be really great. He's out of UCSF and out of something called the Pride Study, which he's also going to be talking about, which is a very important study for LGBTQ plus people in health.
Wow, I'm just so very much, well, some of these workshops compete with each other, but then you have workshops that are available for the whole group. And if I remember correctly, someone that addressed the large group is back again this year, Leo Moore, MD.
Yeah, he's going to be talking about, he's calling it a tale of two outbreaks. He's going to be talking about COVID, HIV, monkeypox, and sort of what we learned from them, what we're still learning from them, as a community, and how it impacts everyone, but really especially in focus on Black gay men. But he's such a great speaker and such a wealth of knowledge and such a incredible support to us that we're glad to have him back again.
And another, you have so many wonderful people, because I know a lot of your presenters, the fabulous Dr. Scoggins, who has so many things that he does, it's hard to describe him.
It is. So I can't remember how I did it, because I was trying to get people in like a 2-line thing. I think I called him community activist, person, I don't know what I called him, but
spiritual leader, singer extraordinaire, and nurse.
Healthcare.
And he could do healthcare on your movie set while you're at it.
Exactly. Well, you know what? One of the things that's great for us that we do every year is we really want to also ask members from our group to step up and be workshop leaders. Last year, I know Wes Rankins did a great workshop. So, uh, Dr. Scoggins said he wanted to do it. So his is called when the applause stops, and how to really. It's more of a motivational type of thing, and really kind of keeping yourself motivated and empowered to do the things that you want to do. And he's such a testament to that because he's always doing something new and amazing and excellent. So,
Well, and the applause has not stopped for him. Let me just tell
No,
you
not at all.
right there. The applause has not stopped. And we spoke about Nhojj, we spoke about him as a singer, but talk a little bit more about what he's doing in the
yeah,
workshop.
it's actually going to be good because I think in some ways this is going to stretch him too. I think that Lorenzo knew him best and really wanted him to take some of what he does because his music is so meaningful and personal, and to talk a little bit about that process and what that means to him. And I think he's going to share some of his music and really just talk about, again, has writing music and performing music as a healing process. And so that's what he's going to be talking about.
Love that. And the final photo on your poster is Dante King.
Yeah. So the so many things. As I'm talking about this thing, and oh my God, we are doing a lot. Another issue that people really wanted to talk about, we wanted to find, was somebody who could really talk about race and racism and some of the dynamics around things like white supremacy. And Dante King is an author. He does a lot of what I would call technical assistance or stuff around agencies to kind of look at how they're set up in ways that are not equitable. And so he's going to be talking about that. He's going to be talking about white supremacy and dismantling racism. So that should be really quite amazing. The one thing though you have that we did add, I wanted to say this, Nicholas, because this is really important. This year again, who's the person who's going to be speaking to the entire group is Bishop Yvette Flunder. So she's coming back again this year. She's an incredible speaker, an incredible spiritual leader out of the Bay Area, and is very much part of the Black LGBTQ plus community. And really, when we did this last year, the thing that people said that they really wanted again was to have her come back. So we got her to come back. So she will be back and doing a talk for the entire group, not a workshop, but a talk for the entire group.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I was so grateful to hear her last year. And she was up against the clock. She had to like run out of that room and get to the airport because she is so in demand. But
Yeah.
that's spectacular. So, Andre, is there anything you want to add about the lineup?
Well, Tim, I think said already, we have such an incredible lineup. We're very fortunate, very blessed that people have just stepped up. They've been coming to us. They've heard about our Wellness Summit, and they go, "Hey, you guys are doing something about health and mental health and health is just in general, and I'd like to be a part of it." So we've gotten so many people and so much interest just from the community for that. And I want to point out, do you see where your logo is?
It's right above you.
Well, it's not right about me. Your logo is right in the center of our flyer.
No, it. Oh, that's because this is the my logo is actually not on your flyer.
Oh, okay.
My logo is on the version of your flyer that I'm using in my show.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
like,
I'm not on.
how
I,
important you are to us.
no, I'm not on your flyer at all. But that's okay. No problem. No worries.
Ah.
No worries. No worries. But yes, was that mean of me to put my logo right in the middle of it? Well, not
No,
on my
not at all.
show.
You found a good space, a great
Sure.
space.
Not on my show.
Well,
So
in general, I just want to say thank you because you've always been out to support us. You've been one of our number one allies from the very beginning, and we appreciate that. I think that's what helps makes the events work, helps makes us work, just all of those things.
well, it's my honor, and I've known how to connect to people as an ally and as a supporter in one way or another in my media activism. But a challenge for me personally has been authentically connecting with other human beings when I'm not wearing my media hat. And I love the way that I've gotten to know many people in your group just as one human being to another in a way that's separate and apart from the advocacy work that I do.
Mhm. One of the things that you mentioned when we were talking about the people that are the lineup and kind of like, oh, I know that person or I remember that person. Most people have come back. I mean, most people have went. This is probably their third or fourth year, and there is a way in which people are very open and connected and willing to engage with you, and for new people who are coming. So please, if you've not been there before, please do come. But it is something where I feel like there's this really nice sense of belonging and almost like a family reunion kind of thing. Like people are just like, okay, come on in. So it really is a great feeling. And even though there's all of this learning and all of this hopefully inspiration that happens, I think really I think one of the main things is that people feel like they're connected and they feel like they're seen and they feel like they belong. And I think we're all happy that we've created that.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad to be part of it, and so happy that you're both in my life. I'm not letting you go yet because I want to talk about this amazing New Year's Eve celebration that you're doing that celebrates Black gay history. It's going to be beautiful and powerful from what I've heard described, and I'm looking forward to knowing more about that. But before we get there, you all successfully convened a group of politicians to come and speak to your group to seek your support. And I'd love for you to reflect a little bit about how that night went. But first, I want to remind all of our viewers what's at stake. So, you gentlemen just convened Election 2022, a conversation with Brothers of the Desert featuring over 12 active election candidates. And first, I just want to say congratulations. It's fantastic that that those candidates knew that your group was an important group to speak at and that they took the time and energy to show up at. And I'd love for you, both of you, to each reflect on what that evening was like for your group. Andre, you take it away first.
Well, I think it was very moving for us because, as you said, we got to connect with the politicians. We got to meet with them as individuals first, and then we heard their statements versus each other. So it was interesting to find what their platforms, what they were, they felt strongest about, what our little valley needs, how to take care of the homeless, and how to take care of, the buildings that aren't finished, the incomplete buildings, and so many other things like that. So I think it was very moving. Again, you got to put a face with a name and really hear that person speak.
And Tim, what would you like to add?
I think it was just really helpful. I think it was helpful for the audience. I think it was actually instructive for the candidates to kind of hear what people were concerned about, and to have to answer them. And it wasn't a huge event, so I think there was an intimacy around it. So I think it got people to be more, a little bit more truthful or real about what's happening rather than being campaigny. So I really appreciated that sentiment.
I know that Brothers of the Desert is a nonprofit organization, that you as an organization don't endorse candidates, but it was great that you had this opportunity to help your membership make more informed decisions. I am curious to know if you're willing to answer the question. Did you did you feel like that the way that any of the candidates answered questions either really endeared them to the group or in fact had the opposite effect? Or do you think that there was probably a more equal response by the membership to the candidates who were gathered there?
I think that for me, I think if it's a hard one to answer, not because I can't answer it. I don't know if I can tell actually. I
Okay, you couldn't, it
think
wasn't,
that
nothing so apparent to you that you could read the room and say, oh, really?
not so much, but I think that really for me, and I will say this again, it's not about a particular candidate, but there are people who I felt like answered the questions that had experience in like what it means to do that particular role or that job, and then there are people who are talking a little bit more about ideas and stuff. So for me, this is again, this I'm speaking for myself. It is helpful to hear that somebody has experience and has ways of kind of working with the um, limitations that sometimes those roles have versus somebody who just comes up with ideas. But I think there are other people who like to hear, you know, ideas.
Anything to add to that, Andre?
No, I was going to say that Tim's absolutely correct. I think that what was endearing is to hear them speak on subjects that they were strong at, and then people got to ask them questions. And so I think, just depends on who's speaking at the time. You kind of, oh, okay, I agree with that, or I don't agree with that, but they're on the right track. So you just kind of, it's a good way of, makes it meeting, getting acquainted, and really listening to them speak on it.
Well, thank you for your willingness to talk about that. And in the home stretch of our show, and we will wrap it up soon because I'm over time, I know, you have the wonderful Legacy Ball coming up, which is your annual New Year's Eve Legacy Gala. This year it's a masked ball featuring Nikki Harris, Saturday, December 31st, 2022, at 8 p.m. And I would love it if you would, gentlemen, would speak about what you have in store for us. I know uh, hearing more about it has made me really interested in perhaps being there. It's a very affordable event for most people. I have to say that. One of the things that we were discussing recently at a gala was
Yes.
the distinction between the price of some events versus others. But uh, I'd love for each of you to tell me what you would like about the Legacy Gala.
I'd like Andre to start first.
Andre, take it away, Andre.
The Legacy Gala is really is our baby. It's how our organization began. It began from a what's progression dinner party,
Mhm.
and just got together and feeding each person. Each time you stop, you have a little conversation. What people are doing out there is incredible, and we need to create something that we feel a part of. This that we feel like it's our community. And when people come to town, they go, "Oh, where do I get my haircut? Where does this happen? Are there any black guys here?" Yes, there's Brothers Desert. So we just wanted to really connect with each other, and the wellness is truly our mission of volunteerism and philanthropy and all the things that go with our mission. But the mass, the gala, is our baby because that's really how we began, and we're very proud of it. And this year's the mask ball, which kind of was a play off the mask because we didn't want to, but we know we're the mask, and it's the New Year's. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. Great music, great people, very good food, and
Well,
it's
and tell people why the name Nikki Harris is ringing a bell for them. I know why. You tell them why.
Nikki Harris was one of Madonna's backup singers. I say
Yeah,
that
featured
much because
prominently in Truth or Dare, by the
yes,
way.
absolutely,
She's
yeah, yeah.
featured prominently in that film. Uh, well, it sounds very exciting. And Tim, I'd love for you to talk about how you're celebrating Black History that night.
Well, we call it a legacy ball because I think we all know and believe that we would not be where we are without the
Mm.
people who came before us, the shoulders we stand on, the people who really made it possible for even us to be where we are right now and have this organization happen. So we have a way of celebrating some of those people. It could be Audre Lorde, it could be James Baldwin, it could be somebody who's more contemporary. But we had people name tables, so the tables have a name to them, and they'll have a little bit of an image and a little bit of information about those people. And then people who buy a table, because you want to do that, you want to buy a table for $2,000. Come on. Anyway, you get to name the table for your own Black LGBTQ legacy, or you can choose from one of the ones that we have. But it really is important. Kind of go back to what Andre said, because it is our legacy, and it's also the legacy of our community that we really want to honor. And and it is a fundraiser, so we want to make some money too. So we're hoping that with the tickets and with some auctions that we're going to be doing, and having Nikki Harris, who we just saw at the Purple Room, or I just saw at the Purple Room a couple of weeks ago, is just an incredible performer. She's an amazing singer, and she's a really great performer. And so we have great entertainment and good, like he said, good food and a DJ and us. Yeah, so
Yes, absolutely.
we're again, it's one of those things where everybody feels welcomed and everybody feels a part of. And we've been doing this again. This is probably the fourth New Year's Eve, but the fifth time that we've done that, because we weren't able to do it last New Year's Eve. But again, it keeps growing, and it's just a wonderful connection.
It's a little sad at first because we kept it with such a small dinner party, so everyone felt really close together, and the fireplaces are going, and everybody's having cocktails, and it's like, oh, so great. Now we're in a ballroom, so now it's much
People,
much
yeah.
So, honest question: is this an event where a single person would feel comfortable, or is it like all coupled up and you feel lonely when you're there?
No,
Oh God, no.
they absolutely feel.
Not that lonely coupled up. I mean, no, we're not everybody's all coupled up. No, they're not. They're not all.
Not that I'm going there to meet Mr. Right, but when you're a single person, you notice these things if you're going to an event and everyone there is in a
There's so much
relationship.
going on.
And
I'll be single. I was single last time. It's just so much going on. So you're seeing someone maybe speak on something, someone sing. You
Right.
go on to the auction. I don't think.
so lots of opportunity for engagement.
Yeah.
You could come with friends. You could come alone.
Yeah.
You could buy a table. You could buy an individual ticket. And it's all at brothersofthedesert.org.
That was actually one of the elements we lost. It was like because you would change tables, or you go to a different house and you see someone different, and you meet someone new.
We did. We just switched places so people couldn't sit in the same place. We want to think about that again.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just bring up your website while I show the address, and all these things we're talking about are on the website. So when you go to brothersofthedesert.org, you can see it's all about empowering Black gay men and allies in the Coachella Valley, and the first information you see there is the Wellness Summit, where you won't find my logo in the middle of it, by the way. And then you scroll down and you see the whole breakdown of the Wellness Summit weekend, Our Rhythm, Our Power, Living Our Best Black Gay Lives. Then there's the information about the Legacy Gala. And then I was referring to the information about their past event that they just had, featuring over 12 active election candidates. And I just want to click over to the About section, because their values are social justice, collaboration, integrity, harmony, respect, transparency, and honesty. brothersofthedesert.org. Congratulations on all of your hard work. What would you like to say in conclusion? Tim?
That we've loved everybody to engage with us, come to the events, find out what we're about, and really we are welcoming everybody.
Fantastic. And Andre?
Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, like our stories, like our posts, and if you are so kind to go back to the opening page, in the very top right corner is the donate button. So in case you're not able to make it, the New Year's is a fundraiser. That's the one fundraiser we do a year. But if it should be on each page, yes.
Thank you.
Please donate
The
to
top
Brothers
of the page, you click donate, and you can donate with PayPal or donate with a debit or credit card. So that would be a good opportunity to conclude, because we've made a pitch for people to donate. I think it would be important for them to know a little bit about the philanthropic work that you do, in addition to even producing this event, which is a big philanthropic effort, given the fact that people can come at a cost that doesn't even meet the expense. So tell us in conclusion about the philanthropic work that you do.
Well, we support a couple of scholarships here in the Coachella Valley. One of them is from the GSAs for an LGBTQ student, and the other end is from the United Negro Academic Scholarship Fund for a Black student in the Coachella Valley. So we do that. We also just have now a member support fund where we have gathered some funds to help particular community members in need. We all are knowing that people are having a difficult time right now, or many people are having a difficult time right now. So we wanted to do that. We also do some advocacy work, like you just saw with the election work, but we also do other things that are supporting voter rights and voter education, and offering some other educational opportunities through a speaker series that we do. So those are some of the highlights of some of the ways in which we're, spending the money that that we're raising, basically, because all this is volunteer. All of the board members, the people who are doing the work, are all volunteers, and so we want to make it accessible. We want to make it something that's meaningful. So any amount of donation helps us to continue to do that.
Anything you want to add, Andre?
No, Tim said it perfectly well. That's Brothers of the Desert all rolled up in a basket.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me tonight on the show, and I look forward to being able to just kind of hang out you'll be both working very hard that day, I know, but I'm going to let you do the work that day, and I'm going to have fun. Yeah. And if there's an opportunity to help, of course I'll help. But
no, we want you to come and partake.
It's really wonderful to have you on the show, and I will see you both soon.
Good.
Thank you.
And to everyone at home, we will all see you maybe at the Wellness Summit.
Yes.
Good night for now. Yeah.